Here is the Rust kit overview. Before we start, I want to preface this by saying I don't have a script and whatever information I'm sharing is off the top of my head. So there might be some like little irregularities and breaks in there, but that's just how it is, yeah. So first up is his normal attacks. Is very basic, very generic, nothing much to explain. His ult costs 20 energy and will consume 20% of his HP to deal damage in a 3x3 around him, and it also does 1 core damage. Now this 20% HP is important because his passive 1 actually gives him 1 stack of flash per every 20% HP consumed. So every time you out, you will get 1 flash stack, and at max stacks, which is 3, the ultimate will switch to a enhanced ult that actually does more damage and 1 extra coverage in a larger radius, which is now a diamond shape instead of the 3x3. So the flash mark itself actually doesn't really play much into Rust kit, where it reduces damage taken and it prevents him from dying if you have the Rust mark, flash mark. But in all honesty, you won't actually be using that too much. Yeah. His passive 2 makes enemies take more damage for 10 seconds, which is actually the duration of a normal core break. After you deal damage with either your normal ult or your enhanced ult. So now onto his shackles. His shackle 1 will give a free stack of flash every 20 seconds if you have no flash mark. So this is actually quite important because it specifies that you must not have any flash marks. It's not if you don't have max stacks of flash marks, it will give you 1. So in basically like most of the content, you don't actually need the shackle, and if you actually think about it, it's not a very good shackle to have if you are not speedrunning either. So yeah. S2 and 5 are very generic HP increase. S3 is basically just extra damage taken for enemies after you deal damage with your ultimate, and it also lasts for 10 seconds, and it's basically double of the end that you get at SL10 of passive 2. S4 is an extra chief energy when entering the battle, which is basically like LL's S3 without the attack M. For Rust ECB, you get chief energy based on what your ECB level is, and if you're using over limit, you get extra chief energy. You want to unlock at least ECB 1 because it consumes 40% of HP immediately, which is 2 free stacks of flash. And if you combine that with your shackle 1, it just means that you get an enhanced ult from the very start, which means a free 2 core break without needing any energy at all. So that's very useful. So now, what is Overlimit? Overlimit is the new protesters that they introduced in-game, and it basically doesn't have a stacking limit of how much you can consume at once. However, you don't actually get over limit very frequently, so you kind of want to manage it because every time you use it, it will consume all chief energy that you have, no matter the value. So if you have 10 stored up and you consume 10, and you cast it once, you actually just automatically use all that 10 energy that you have. And basically, it increases the attack that your Sinners have for 6 seconds, and this is the most important point because it only has a lasting duration of 6 seconds, but if you do consume more chief energy during that time, it will refresh that duration. And basically, hang on.
Finally, it's time to enjoy the fight.
Rust has this characteristic that says that if you're using the protesters over limit, he is able to gain 6 over limit value per second. So this over limit value actually converts to a chief energy, every 100 over limit value, so it's about 16.6 seconds, but nobody actually counts the fractions of a second here, so just take it as 17 seconds. So basically, how you can see how much over limit value you have, how you can see how much over limit value you have is actually by a red line above the over limit. So as you can see over here, there is this red little line that progressively increases, and if you let it do its thing, you can see that it starts turning white. This is the over limit value that Rust provides, and if you have sinners such as Reforged Zoya or Reforged 99, they are also able to help you regain this over limit value. So as you can see right now, I have 4 over limit. If I cast it once, if I cast the Chief Protesters once, I will eat all 4 of my Chief energy here, and I gain 4 of these stacks. So it just tells me that I have currently 4 active stacks of over limit, which means my Sinners are currently having a 16% attack increase. And if you can see, there's this little white countdown here beside the 4 that basically means that that's how long my Sinners will have this extra attack for. And if I use my friend here, I gain the Chief energy here, and you can see that when I cast it again, I consume all 6, but I also get back that ICD that 6 seconds actually starts refreshing. So that's the good thing. So another thing to note is that you can only have up to 10 stacks, and if you cast any more if you cast over limit any more times after that, it just refreshes the ICD instead of increasing the stacks. So one thing that they didn't tell you about Rust is that if you have his enhance out like I do right here, you are able to move with him actually, and the damage will follow him. So for example, I cast it, my friend, and you can see that it starts doing damage, and when I move it here, the mobs at the very top also takes the damage. But the difference is that when you actually cast his normal ultimate, it does not follow him.
Still,
so
my friend.
For example, you can cast it here, the damage starts coming up, but when you move him, it stops. And this is the downside of Rust. When you actually cast his normal ultimate, it does not follow him, and it will cancel, so you will have to make sure that if you want all the damage to come out, you cannot move him at all. Yeah, so his enhance out is the only one that would follow, and is actually a very big range of a diamond shape. Very nice to have. So you want to get that enhance out as often as possible. So the thing here now is also, due to the wording of his S1, you can see that at the very start of the battle he will gain 1 flash stack. But
Still,
if you wait 20
my friend.
seconds more, and he doesn't lose sufficient energy to he doesn't lose sufficient HP to trigger that extra.
My friend.
Not he doesn't. If he doesn't lose any more flash tag, as you can see right now, it's past 20 seconds and I still only have 1 flash tag on him. That's because of how his S1 states that it has to be 0 flash tags at all. So if I actually go back to 0, you can see that immediately after I am able to get 1 flash tag right here, which is kind of annoying because you're not always going to have 0 flash tags, and if you actually have any flash tags already, it just doesn't actually it just won't help you get more flash tags. Yeah. So the other thing about Rust is that you can actually, there are different ways that you can actually chain his out. So if you notice,
Hold still,
if you
my
cast
friend.
it out first,
Hold still,
and then you
my friend. Hold still, my friend.
and then you cast it enhance out, it will actually stack together 196. right? And that's because you don't move him at all. So if you do the same thing, but the other way this time,
Hold still. Hold still, my friend. Hold still, my friend.
and it will both come out, which is extra damage. But the thing is, if you want to move Rust during this duration, only the enhanced art will follow in terms of damage, whereas the normal art will just get cut off. So a thing that you can actually do if you want to deal with the mobs at the back and then have Rust also help to attack the boss at the front is you can
Hold still,
make
my
sure
friend.
that
Hold still,
his
my
enhanced
friend.
art moving over and
Hold
then
still, my
normal
friend.
art on him, and it will both stack together. Yeah, so his out actually gets cancelled when he moves, but if you do any other action, it will not cancel his normal art.
Hold still, hold still,
Likewise.
my friend.
You can still see that his normal art is dealing damage 1976, whereas his enhanced art doesn't actually cancel out his normal art. Yeah, and the thing is that his ECD actually looks to be,
Hold still,
but it
my
doesn't
friend.
actually do anything. It's just a normal effect.
Hold still,
Yeah.
my friend.
That's the cool thing about Rust and how his enhanced art functions. Other than that, I think it's pretty much it for Rust Kid in general. What he can wear as his crime bands is because he has core breaking available, he is able to wear Heartache. And if you want him to deal damage, you can also wear a 3-piece set of Doom City and Spawn on him. And for any other sets that you might have, if you have another core breaker already on Heartache, you can just wear the normal support sets like Nomad, Afterglow, Nightmare, Revelation with Immolation. And if you are for whatever reason playing him as a main DPS, you can always wear Bell Tower. Yeah. He won't benefit from things like Dawn After Darkness, but if you are struggling, you can also always just use the typical energy set, because it will just automatically give him 14 energy. Or if you are playing 16 energy actually, or if you are playing the Dreamflower variation, you are able to get 5 plus 21 energy after 8 seconds, which is basically an ultimate already. Yeah, so those are all of his current band options, and that's basically much it for Rust. Yeah.